Hello, my name is Debbie Metke, and I have the honor today to interview our two recipients of the Global Citizens Awards for the United Nations Association Greater Milwaukee Chapter. Hope you enjoy them.
Hi, my name is Kate Myers. I was born in Illinois. I've lived lots of places, including Japan, and now I live in Milwaukee.
Thank you, Kate. And how long have you been an activist?
Well, I feel like forever because my early life was informed by World War II, and we always thought about what was happening in the world. But I think probably the first act was after I went to college. I dropped out after 2 years and went to Europe to work in a peace camp because we were still worried about Europe coming back.
Wow. So you were working at a camp to help feed the people who were hurt from the war in Europe?
Yes, actually I was in Holland, which was quite devastated after World War II.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And what issues have been most important to you in your years of activism?
Actually, the most important has been peace, I would say, and related to that also is racism, those two things. So I was always concerned.
Uh-huh. And did you have somebody special in your life that helped inspire you to become an activist?
Well, I feel my family, to start with, probably most especially my father, who was a high school teacher. But also my idol was Eleanor Roosevelt.
Uh-huh. Great. That's a good role model. Now, your father was a geography teacher, right?
Well, he was political science, not geography.
Oh, my. Well, you got a snootful then. And how did you feel about the United Nations throughout your life?
Well, that was very important. I turned 17 2 days after the United Nations was formed, and I really thought it was going to solve the problems of the world. I believed that sincerely, and of course, as I say, my idol was Eleanor Roosevelt, and she spoke so often, and then she declared the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which we should, as I think, celebrate every year fully as much as UN Day. It's on December the 10th, and I feel that's equally important, and it's the other half of peace.
Right. And Wisconsin meant something special to you because of the UN, right?
Yes, when I moved to here I was most startled to discover, because I belonged to the League of Women Voters, that we had a governor's commission on the UN, and it had been started by Gaylord Nelson, and was renewed by every single governor since that until the present one. Mm-hmm. And at one time, because I was on it, I was the chair of that organization for several years.
Great. Do you think we can strengthen the United Nations to make it more effective?
I would always hope so. I also know that the divisive things that are occurring in the world now are not going in the right direction, but there are people who believe, as I have always believed, and I'm hopeful that we'll go that direction.
Okay. And what have you enjoyed about being an activist in your life?
Well, I think that's how you meet the best people. Because people who are out there, for whatever, if they care, they're always more interesting.
Okay, great. And what keeps you going?
Well, that very thing is what keeps me going, because there is always something new to learn.
Uh-huh. And are you very hopeful about the future?
Well, I've been a little discouraged these last couple of years because things seem to be going in a very sad way to me. But I've been reading Steven Pinker's Enlightenment now, and I'm feeling quite a bit enlightened, because he does have a way of putting things that everything is possible. And that's what I'd like to believe.
Great. And do you have any words of advice for those who will follow us?
My words are always be curious, because it's being curious that makes you get interested and keeps you interested in things.
Thank you very much, Kate. It's been an honor to talk with you.
Nice to talk to you.
Hi, my name's Kathleen Hart, and I'm the mother of 9 children and a grandmother and a great-grandmother.
Wow.
And I grew up in Greendale, Wisconsin. Greendale was built to bring people out of the Depression. Roosevelt did that under the New Deal, and he brought people out of the Depression by providing jobs and low-cost housing for people. So that's okay.
And in spite of having 9 children, you've been quite politically active all your life. You were on the school board and you've run for various positions.
Yes.
You're the founder of the Raging Grannies singing group here in Milwaukee, where a bunch of older women get together and sing about making political change with their music, right?
Right, absolutely.
And you've written a lot of those songs, right?
Yes,
Wow.
I have done that.
Well,
Yes.
Kathleen, how long have you been an activist?
I think since 7th grade, actually, I had a teacher that introduced me to black people. I had never met any, and she had a class exchange with a school in the inner city because there were no black people in Greendale, and we never saw any TV because we didn't have TV then. And so I never even saw a black person.
Uh-huh.
That's where I started that.
Wow.
And then later on, during the 60s, when I was ironing and I was just watching TV and saw the hosing of people in the South, and it just really got me upset about that. So I think that was really the start of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I understand you even saw John F. Kennedy when you were younger, huh?
Oh, when he came down National Avenue in Milwaukee after I had about 3 kids, and I just thought it would be nice for them to see the candidate for president, and we did that.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And you may or may not have voted for Kennedy, right?
Actually, I didn't, and I'm admitting it now. I'm old enough to admit it. I didn't vote.
Okay, and what issues have been most important to you in your life as an activist?
Okay. Mostly the civil rights issues. That's the first one. And prison issues, prison reform. I was director of Wisconsin CURE, which is Citizens United to Rehabilitate Errants. And I did that for 10 years, and trying to make life a little better for the inmates there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
And poverty issues probably
Right.
also. Uh-huh.
And to poor, yes, I did. I worked for inner city development way back when.
Uh-huh.
And helped people with their taxes, and we had a food co-op, and we did that too. So.
Uh-huh. And did you have anybody special in your life who inspired you to think you could make a difference in these national and local and global issues?
No, actually.
Well, you had your 7th grade teacher.
Yes, my 7th grade teacher. She was the best.
Who brought you into the inner city and opened up a whole new world for you, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And how do you feel about the United Nations?
Well, it's absolutely necessary, and I hope they can get more power. We talked about the League of Nations when I was in grade school, and it was a good idea then, and it still is now as the UN itself. I like the fact that they're going into schools and educating the kids about it, because the kids are important, for sure.
Right, that's something they're doing in Milwaukee with the UN School of International Learning, bringing thousands of Milwaukeeans into, I think, the fairgrounds. So what have you enjoyed about being an activist? Have you gotten anything out of all the work you've put into this?
I've met the most wonderful people along the way, absolutely. And so my circle of friends are activists also. So it's been very rewarding with that.
Mm-hmm. And do you ever see any progress?
Once in a while, we get a little victory once in a while. You win a campaign or do something. But I think the hope for the future is the children. It's the children that are protesting now on the gun issue. Which is really important, and I hope they will get something done.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Great. What keeps you going?
I don't know, vitamins. No,
What keeps your morale up as an activist?
okay, well, the need for people. People always need help, somebody along the way, you know, and it's important. Mm-hmm. It's in my horoscope to work, you know.
Oh.
It was right in my horoscope about how much I love to work. So
Okay.
I have no control.
You don't want to be bored. The stars set your life. Okay.
Right.
And do you have much hope for the future?
I do when I see the kids, because otherwise it seems like things, you know, are just going in a circle to me. When you get old, it get that way, I guess. But anyway, with the kids out there about the gun issue, I think that's really hopeful. Really hopeful.
The Parkland students, right?
Yes.
Uh-huh. And do you have any advice for those who will follow us?
Oh, yes, keep on trucking. Do that.
Okay, it's worth it?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, thank you for all your years trying to help our world, Kathleen, and you've been an inspiration.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.